for one person to go, that's fine. But to take a family, it's no longer just like, let's go and see a movie. And obviously doing stuff at home is cheap. So I just think they need to be careful about that.
See, I think it's coming from another area, and this is not to contradict you, because my favorite date is to go have a slice of pizza, get a Coke, and go to a movie, and I've been other places. But that's my favorite thing to do. But I was out at the HIF Festival yesterday, the Hamptons International Film Festival. They don't have the energy. I mean, if you're an old hippie like myself, it's the energy, the creative energy. They're lacking the impetus. They're trying to figure out where to get the money for the big budgets. And storytelling is storytelling. And I think that the arc and the curve is this multi-national, multi-personality storytelling and bringing it to this new form of medium. And I think the tools that you use will catch up, and that unless they listen to what you're saying and they make it affordable, people are not going to be doing it that way. They're going to go to their computers and to this other form of picking up information and sharing.
Well, I think, to something we spoke to as we were walking into this room, our age, I think all of us here are dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
Relative to who you should be paying attention to. What we like, our experience of going to the cinema, we're from a different generation. You got to look at what 15 and 20-year-olds are doing today to figure out what's going to be the norm in 5 to 10 years. Because they're the ones that have the buying power. They're the ones that are setting the trends.
Right.
And nostalgia is something that's part of everyone's life. And there's always a tendency to wax poetic about the past and the way things were. And in my 35 years of working with people, I can't tell you how I keep hearing photographers and filmmakers talking about the good old days, and I'm old enough now to realize that I've been part of the good old days, and I talk about them, and that a lot of it is nostalgic, the ideal that those were my standards and what I grew up with and what I got comfortable with. And human beings in general don't like change too much. We like our habits. We like comfort. But to the new people, HDSLRs are the way to make films. They don't have nostalgia for film. And they may not have nostalgia in 5 years for going to the theater. So I think the key is to keep an open mind and to realize that, the one thing I can stay true to is I don't really care about technology. I thought, the conversation down there got a bit too technical and always does, and I get frustrated. Had you talked to me a year and a half ago, I would have been on that page. Whereas now, the only thing I can stand by, and that I know that it's going to be steady throughout, no matter what technology is, no matter where it is, no matter how it's distributed, no matter how it's consumed, is a story.
Right.
And I think as long as you focus on the story and on the content, all this other stuff is kind of irrelevant. It will help you to tell it better. It will impede you from telling it well if you don't use it well or know it. But ultimately, the one thing that does stay true about Citizen Kane or any Hitchcock film or any Kubrick film is that it was fantastic storytelling along with a lot of times visuals.
That's interesting, because we went to the peer shows for the New York Armory back in March, and there was a young Frenchman, I guess he was 27, who was being displayed at a gallery, and he had drawn a storyboard as a video for Hitchcock's one of Hitchcock's films, and the handwork was done in pencil, which is archaic. But he had married the two forms. He had married the computer video storyboard to the old film storyboard, and he had presented his art form. And it was beautiful. And this is to get back to you. And the technicalities of what you will produce. The people who develop this equipment now for the next 10 or 15 years will listen to you as experts. You will bring that finite eye and lens to the process. Your ability to promote picture and the depth of picture and the range of picture and how story is traditionally told through film will be interpolated through the machines or through the appliances that are used, and then the stories will be made better by what you bring, by your expertise, and then the young people will make it popular by what they accept or reject. And I think it's going to be international. I think the people in Mumbai, as well as the people in Cape Town and New York and Paris and London and LA will be the people who decide what's used, rather than a couple of seminal cultures here and there deciding what everybody else will be accepting.
Probably, I mean, just to what Philip was talking about previously in our talk downstairs was the idea that the moderator brought up the idea of how do you pick the good films? There's so much stuff out there.
Oh, that's interesting.
And the idea is that the public chooses, and it's viral, and when it's good, they share, and it grows on its own. And if it's not good, no one talks about it. So it's the process of elimination. It's Darwinism, in the internet age, if you will. And so that's how things will be picked in the future, right? In my opinion, is that things will rise to the top through international or national or just local. I mean, we keep talking about this big expanse, but I know a friend of mine is going the exact opposite way, and he's covering his community in the only way that he can do it. So he's creating a website that he creates to cover only his little little town.
That's interesting.
But he covers his restaurants and his artists and his people from that community, and he's getting more traffic, than the local paper because he does it better and he focuses on the micro.
Oh, that's interesting.
Macro.
No idea what you're talking about.
Macroeconomics.